Welcome to the Energy Hour. The Energy Hour is brought to you by Quality Home Improvement, Southern California's premier residential and commercial contractor, making homes and businesses energy efficient, one building at a time.
Hey, Sean, what's going on?
How you doing, Chris?
You know, it's today is the 17th.
Yeah, 17th of
What's
February.
Up? I mean,
hard to believe.
It's like every podcast that we do, I kind of bring that back into perspective.
Yeah.
Because it's like mind-blowing.
2 more months before people have to worry about their taxes.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, taxes are coming. Do you think they really care?
No. They
Not
don't.
really.
Well, of course the government cares because they want your money.
They care, yes.
Right.
Do I care? Not
No.
really. S-Corp. But anyways, that's another story altogether. Today we got some pretty controversial topics and stuff like that. These are energy related / rich guy related / down to the magnetic levitating light.
Yeah, it looks pretty robust up there, actually.
Right? So we were talking about earlier, you had this thing talking about the generator. It's a tiny droplet of water.
Yeah, it's crazy. I was on the internet the other day, and this ad had actually kind of popped up about saving electricity, and I just kind of clicked on it and went over to a news ad, which basically claimed that scientists have developed the capability. Of course, it's not implemented, but they've developed the capability where they can generate electricity from raindrops. So they have
Wait a second here.
Yeah, crazy, huh?
Raindrops equal electricity.
Yeah, so imagine a raindrop being able to generate the potential to generate up to 140 volts in a single raindrop.
So as we know that water comes from clouds, right? And it gets evaporated up into the atmosphere and then circulates via the ocean and other places, drops on hillsides, mountains, and you're saying you can produce 140 volts from one droplet of rain.
Yeah, well, not me personally. If I could, I'd be a trillionaire probably. However, these scientists have claimed that 1 millionth of a liter, which would be 100 microliters, is 1 microlight. A single drop, essentially, of water released from a height of 6 inches can generate a voltage of over 140 volts.
That just blows me away, man.
Isn't that crazy?
What does that do? Does that mean we're going to run? Hey, wasn't this a while ago? There was a guy in Australia or something like that. He was like trying to run his car on water, H2O.
That's crazy. The first thing I think about is,
we haven't heard from him since.
Well, why don't we just get a bunch of kids with squirt guns and have them start, pumping out, right?
Gallons of water.
That'd be a great way to generate electricity then.
That's crazy. But, they'd have that and they have hydrogen.
Yeah.
It's kind of water-based, right?
Yeah.
And, how do you feel about those? Hydrogen cars. And we talk about them all the time, right? Stuff just coming out.
Look how many years ago they were when cell phones prominently started coming out, and then there was all this worry about, well, what about the radiation from it, and brain waves, and you walk under a power pole, and next thing you know, you're gonna have deformed children and all this other stuff. What do we know the limitations on something like that if it comes to all these different technologies? It's nice to come up with the technologies, but then there has to be safety factors that are thought about, when it comes to this.
On that same topic, G5, 5G or G5, whatever that is, a new 5G phone service coming out, right? I've heard some stories on that.
Like what?
Well, this thing's, it's faster, bigger, better, and if you stick it up to your ear for so many hours a day, you may not have any more hearing.
Yeah.
It's going to start...
Maybe they'll make, 5G spatulas to start, flipping eggs with them or something. Who knows?
Why not? Oh, my goodness. Can you imagine that, man?
That would be crazy.
The technology that's available right now.
Well, and remember, that's the technology that they're telling you is available right now.
You know,
I
yeah.
remember years ago
Yeah.
when Desert Storm first started coming out, and I was kind of excited just in general about it, right? And I told one of the guys that I was with, who actually worked for Lockheed Martin at the time.
Wow.
And I said, isn't it amazing that, we have satellites that can see stamps from space and all this stuff? And then he bends over and he talks in my ear and he goes, isn't it amazing that was invented 30 or 40 years ago?
Yeah,
and it just blew
exactly.
my mind and never even
right.
thought.
Right.
So just because you're given that information now doesn't mean it was all conceptual back then, and it becomes product now. But it's product that's already played out because somebody else somewhere has something that supersedes that.
So are you saying that our podcast is being monitored by the NSA?
Oh, absolutely. Everything on the
Okay,
internet's
let's
being monitored.
see what they say. Bomb. President. Hang on a second. Someone's coming to the door. Oh my gosh, hi.
I guess the only
Oh,
drawback
goodness.
on that is,
Federal prison and treason?
Well,
maybe?
no, you didn't state
I
what
didn't-
president.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
So
that's
that really
right.
doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
yeah.
That is
Yeah.
freedom of speech.
Yeah, okay.
And understandably so.
Okay.
But at the same time, I think all kinds of things are being monitored, whether it's NSA or who knows. In today's day and age,
AQMD?
I mean,
I don't know.
I read
I don't
some
even know if they
article.
do
They have Iranians that are creating backdoors on servers of tech companies all over the United States. They're attempting to, at least.
Yeah.
And the FBI can send out their bulletins, things of that nature. Oh, you better beware of this or beware of that. But unless somebody on the backside is implementing a security measure to circumvent that, the issue is still going to be there.
It's just like the virus software that we use, right? Isn't that funny that, we buy this virus protection every single year, and before the virus comes out, they've already got that inoculated. It's like it's it was like pre-made, and then they, blast it out on the internet, and they've already got it pre-inoculated.
Well, a lot of that stuff.
Is that like I think the virus protection companies, I mean, I don't even know how to rate them. Are they real, or
Yeah,
is
of course
that
they're
like
real.
a scam, or
a lot of the stuff that
how in the hell do you get an inoculated virus prior to release date?
Well, a lot of the stuff that the normal per se customer is dealing with is something that was probably already a malware 5, 6, 7 years ago.
Well, here's what I really don't like. I remember a while back. This was a long time ago. I had a friend that clicked on something when he couldn't do something inside of Windows, and it took him to another screen, and within seconds, somebody from like Bangladesh was talking to this guy via the screen, and he got charged $400.
Yeah, crazy, huh?
And then they wanted like a monthly fee. I'm just like, wait a second here, man. What?
Yeah.
This is fraud at a different level.
Well, they could have really compounded it if they said, "Well, I don't want it in American dollars. I want it in our currency, right?"
Or give me some
Especially way back then.
rupees or whatever. I don't know. It was just blew me away. So technology, as we know it, is specifically these tiny. They call it a tiny generator, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it can do up to 100 LED bulbs with a single droplet.
Not necessarily. Well, I guess
100. Yeah, it depends on the
depending
volts
on the
times
voltage
amps
of
equal
the
watts,
volts.
right?
Yeah.
That's crazy. But hey, maybe in the next 50 years they'll.
It's conceptual right now, but that's why they have these supercomputers that can run through these certain mathematical
Scenarios,
formulas
yeah.
and algorithms, and just put you in that universe that you would,
Is it possible?
normally not be able to, bring that concept to reality. And it actually reminds me, stuff like this reminds me of.
That's mind expanding.
There was a short science fiction story years ago. I believe the author is Theodore Sturgeon. It was a story called Neoteric God.
Really?
And what it was about was a scientist who started creating just regular inventions, a thin wire that can lift up, weights the size of tanks, things of that nature. And he was reclusive, and he started making money, and he didn't want to really have to deal with people. So he started in his laboratory creating this race that he would call neoterics, and they were organisms that had certain things about them. Like one was they breathed a special atmosphere, like an ammonia atmosphere. They didn't breathe oxygen because he's said to himself, well, if I have them breathing oxygen, then they're going to get smarter than we are because their rate of metabolism or their rate of growth was 4 generations every hour. So after about 3 or 4 months, they had the same intelligence as human beings. And then it started going greater than that. And he would give them variables. He'd say, okay, you can see your world up above you. It's ceilinged, and it's going to start crushing down on you in 3 or 4 days, which is probably, who knows, 5, maybe 50 or 60 years your time, because of the rate of...
Right.
And here's some raw materials, some iron or rubber or whatever. And
what are you going to do with it, right?
Pretty soon one of his little creatures would figure out how to block that. And then he'd say, okay, send me the designs for that. And then he'd take those designs and sell them out in the real world, and that's how he made his money.
Oh, how funny.
Yeah, so anyways, I don't want to give
so
the end of the story.
Did he get bought by like an oil company and shoved into a drawer?
Well, what happened in his case was he bought an island and so that he could be away from people. And there was a marketing guy that he worked with who was exclusive to him who was starting to get greedy.
Oh, boy.
And I don't want to really say the end of the story because if anybody really likes science fiction, they should go out there and read it. It's a short story. And the ending is pretty interesting.
I love it. I'm going to grab
just the concept of it, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Theodore Sturgeon, I believe.
Theodore Sturgeon.
Neoteric Gods.
Okay, I'm going to get it, man. Hey, check this out. We're also partnering with our friends at Solaria.
Great.
And I'm going to be telling this to all solar panel manufacturers right now.
What's that?
They're going to hate this, but, it's true and it's factual and to me, it's a belief system, right? I am so in love with this company called Solaria. I am creating the next campaign called Go Solaria or Go Home.
Great.
What do you think of that?
Fantastic.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, come on, think about it. If you look at the CSI-EPBB.com website, and there's a lot of them, right? How many manufacturers that are actual manufacturers, and how many of those manufacturers actually put other companies' labels on their panels? They charge them a little bit more, and this is the Solar City 220 water. Well, I can say that because they're no longer in business. Right? I mean, they made a bunch of panels that they kind of, I think it was kind of one of those, pride things. I want to have my name on everything.
Well, let me give you a 25-year warranty on a panel, and my company's been around for 2 years.
Right.
Does that make any sense?
No, it doesn't. It's crazy, right? So my thing is, and, of course, I love solar, but you know me, Sean. I think solar, renewable energy, and just energy efficiency, number one, is one of my favorite pet peeves in life. Besides my kids, my dogs, and my wife. I got to mention them, otherwise I'm in trouble.
There you go.
I'm just kidding. No, but that's true. And God, of course, right?
Absolutely. God first.
And then, I mean, out of all these solar companies in place, I don't know what just pulls me to the Solaria company. Well, let me give you a quickie. Maybe it's all the solar systems that we've installed in the past that look so crazy good on a roof line. If you go to our webpage, QHIINC.com, you'll see one of our latest customers from LA. And we put on this really cool polypropylene, style Da Vinci roof. And then we stuck Solaria on that roof. It looks, I have to say, it looks so badass. It is what it is. And then not only that, they put their money where their mouth is. It's production. It's, sleekness, design. It's, they don't have any diodes. They don't have any those, manufactured. What do they used to do? They used to print them on the front of cells. How they can go from one series to the next? Right. That's all gone. They've used something like, electro adhesive, something like that. Rob knows it inside and out.
Well,
it's,
they're
so bitchin'.
When I think of Solaria, I think of a multi-million-dollar, if not maybe billion-dollar company, but with a mom-and-pop mentality on the customer side.
Yes, thank you.
And also on the vendor or partners that they work with. Now, of course, we do pitch Solaria because we sell their product, and we install their product because we only install what we believe to be the best.
Top tier.
Correct. There are other solar companies. Actually, there's a company that I would put in comparison with them, but the problem with that other company is...
I wouldn't mention their name either.
Correct.
I don't like their name anymore.
They're way out of bounds.
Well, their management team, they got this, stick up themselves sideways, and they look at the little guy, and they just flex their chest all the time, and it's us or nowhere.
Yeah.
Mentality, and I completely hate that. So if anybody runs a company kind of like, that fashion, I'm going to discredit you and just hammer you every single time. You run, first and foremost, this is the human race, right? We're people. We buy and sell things all the time. We're doing it all over the world, right? So why develop a company with just an attitude of aggression / I don't give a crap / hey, we know we're better than anybody else. Well, that'll undermine you as soon as you turn the corner.
Yeah, I remember that company that you're talking about, and I remember when they first came out, it was all a bed of roses.
And I was a believer.
Yes, absolutely. Well, they made you a believer because they had panels that were 30 to 40 watts higher for same surface square area for the most part.
Efficiency was better, and
efficiency was better, aesthetics were better, things of that nature. But then, of course, you get the sales whores who join, and they're only interested in their pocketbook, which is understandable for any company to try to make money. But when they start, squeezing the customer, and trying to have a monopoly on the industry, which thank God we're in America.
Yeah. Choices, maybe?
Correct. Where we have people or institutions out there that think outside the box and go, you know what, I'm really not going to go down that road with you. And you're not going to have top dog status on something like this unless you change your thought process and the way you approach things. I believe Solaria is one of those companies right now that's doing something like that.
Times 100 with me, man. Hands down is one of the best companies on the planet. So if you're some type of a solar integrator, if you're one of those guys that want to do a real good job, and
you want it to look good
as Company X for a customer, and you don't want all the garbage, you don't use anything else but Solaria. That's it.
Yep.
And you know what? It takes a lot from me to kind of go the other route. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Absolutely.
I mean, you remember me. I was true and true blue Company X, and it didn't matter. So, I mean, you cut my veins and their name poured out of it, right?
Big old block letters.
Right? Yeah. And because over the years, their mentality and how they treated other dealers, hint, and stuff like that, they really, really put a bad taste, not only in my mouth, but in other dealers. I mean, literally, I got railroaded on something that never happened.
Well, here's one positive that Solaria is doing, and I hope they continue down this road. The other company that we're talking about that's nameless, you have to buy their quote-unquote system.
Yeah, and
we'll check it out.
They don't make the inverters either.
This is America, right?
Yeah.
So why would you force me into purchasing your system when maybe I can use a component of your system and have better feedback on the, quote-unquote, on the backside?
Hello?
Which would be a benefit all around.
Well, let me tell you how they got to where they are today. And they've been losing grip. They've been losing a grip ever since, right? They got to that where they are today on other people's backs, period. And I say that with conviction. Now it's, you use 100% of me or you can't use me, stuff like that.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
I won't give them too much more airtime, even though they don't know who Company X is. It's a real shame. And I promised myself 5 years ago to never use another one. And they told me in the beginning, hey, you can never find their stuff on eBay, blah, 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 blah. It's everywhere on the planet.
Yeah. How many would you like? I'll sell you some.
So ridiculous, right? Yeah. So we'll get over that. So I have this campaign from Solaria that I'm putting together, and I hope they're listening. You go Solaria or go home. That's my personal campaign, and it started today.
That's great.
And check out this campaign. Not only will you get one of the best panels on the planet by far, I will endorse the system production with what they're doing, and I'm going to give you 10% off.
That's good.
If you mention the Energy Hour podcast.
That's good.
You mention the Energy Hour podcast, and immediately, I don't care if you're residential, I don't care if you're a commercial customer. We're only going to install Solaria, and that's it.
That's great.
You're going to hear on the other side of that coin, you're going to pull over the veil and say, I wonder if Chris has a secondary panel over here. And here's what you're going to hear. You're going to hear crickets because there's nobody, right?
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
FYI.
10% is a very nice chunk.
Especially when the ITC has gone down 4%, right?
Yeah, you were covering the ITC by 2 times at least.
At least 2.5 times, right.
Yeah. So why not?
If you're doing solar, if you're going to do it right, if you give me the opportunity.
What if you took that 10% and rolled it into getting something a little bit bigger onto your system, as long as it was justified?
Oh, my goodness, that's great.
Yeah.
Oh, how about this? We have this really cool thing that you can install in your garage in our friends over at thesunbrokers.com. Mm-hmm. It's called atmospheric water generation.
That's the way to go.
If you're in Southern California, not only will we give you the 10% discount, or we can give you an atmospheric water generator with that. What do you think?
I think that's a fantastic idea because atmospheric water generation, the ability to have a solar-powered system that will pull the humidity from the air. And
That's
give
right.
you clean,
mineralized
water.
That's right.
And what? The panel generates 300 bottles a month?
Just one, and they're a little bit bigger than the Solaria Residential 360. Mm-hmm. They have these really cool DHW, domestic hot water panels, built into it. They got a couple of other solar panels, put into there. Maybe I can convince them to go Solaria one day.
That would be great.
Wouldn't that be nice, right?
Yeah, that would be great.
And then what happens is it pulls the humidity out of the environment and even has a 30-gallon reservoir built into it. You and I have tasted it personally.
Yes.
And am I right? Was it good or what?
Yeah, it's absolutely it's flawless water. It's
can
you imagine being in an environment where there is no water and now you can have it?
That's right. I looked over at Mark and I was like, "Can I have some more?" It was so good.
Yes.
It just blew me away. So, atmospheric water generator, you want one of those, we can get it to you, and that would be part of the install, or I can give you 10% off on your solar system.
That would be great. Oh, so you're going to give them the choice of 10% or the atmospheric water generation?
And if they want the 10%, I'll give them the atmospheric water generator at a discounted rate.
That'll be great.
How would you like to get water from the environment, the atmosphere, for the next 20 years? Free. And you don't have to go to the store. You don't have to buy bottled water that comes through a filter anyways. Did you know that they take the bottled water for some of these sources? I actually saw a company, I won't mention their name, they backed up to a fire hydrant and poured gallons and just hundreds and thousands of gallons into this huge tanker, and I watched them as they entered this plant, and they took that water to run through a filter to put it in plastic bottles to charge you $4 to $5 a pop for a 16.9 ounce bottle of water.
That's ridiculous. You need to tell me the name of that company off air then, because I definitely don't want to have any
If you grab your favorite bottle of water, and you look at the label, it'll say it gets its water from public resources.
That's crazy.
What does that tell you?
Yeah, rip-off? It's
not coming down from the mountains, bub.
Yeah,
there's only 1% natural drinking water on this planet, and it's 0.75 left. And you're not getting it from these guys. So,
yeah, some people need to.
Hey, they can be backing up to your favorite sewage company for all I know and blowing that stuff in there and making it whatever they do. I mean, shoot, that's crazy, right?
That's wrong, to have that being done to people. And then covering it under the guise of, we're here for you.
It's like JFK. We finally realized that, something happened.
Yeah.
And it probably had to do something with us.
Yeah.
Watch the movies. So I'm just saying, man, you draw your own conclusion. So that being said, Sean, 10% off, go Solaria or go home.
That's great.
You like that?
Yes, absolutely. I think that's.
Knew you would.
I think that's going to work.
Yeah.
Phenomenally.
Right? I mean, seriously, why not put the best panel on your roof that produces the best amount of energy, period? And isn't there production warranty for like 25 years? They have a performance warranty for 25 years?
Oh, on the Solaria panels?
It's like second to none.
Yeah, it's outrageous, actually.
You know? So,
and the capability of just backing up what they say they're going to do is tantamount to what we do.
Exactly.
You know, we need to be able to go to the customer and say, hey, we have the coverage for this. You're protected not only under the California CSI, but for what we do as a company to you, or for you, I should say. And I think that's going to be on top of the food chain.
Yeah, I think it's a company that's going places. And congratulations to everybody at Solaria. They just opened up the European market.
Especially
it's great.
Dealing with the aspect of the atmospheric water generation. You know, we have a lot of customers that have, in the summertime, they're going to be in their backyards.
Well, think
with
about
their
it.
Family.
Did you already hear that California alone, you know, the drinking water is going to be so scarce, and now they're talking about we're already going to have an early drought.
Yeah,
it's not even flipping March
you
yet.
Know, like Rob was saying, what if earthquakes happen?
I mean, right?
And, you know, we have tremors all the time. But
all the time.
The quote-unquote big one hasn't occurred yet.
That's
and we're kind of overdue for that.
It's going to be about a 10.0.
Yeah.
So any natural building that's standing, we're on the second floor.
Yeah.
Oops.
So our customers are just going to be standing in their backyard drinking their water while everybody's rushing to 99-cent store to get whatever they can off the shelf.
Yeah, which is going to be non-existent in a very short period of time.
Probably coming from that company that says we just pumped it from the local fire hydrant.
And they're selling it to you at $15 a bottle now. How many would you like? I'll take them all.
Yeah.
So atmospheric water generator is a fantastic thing, and that's my pledge to anybody out there listening. So if you go Solaria, you got to go home, baby. Let's take it to the edge.
Go Solaria or go home.
That's right. Hey, man, what about Bezos, our buddy?
Yeah, you know, this guy.
I mean, think about it. First, he avoids taxes, right?
Yeah.
I would have went to prison. I don't know how that works.
Technically, he's not avoiding taxes. He has people that he's hired to take care of all that for him.
They're a lot smarter than I am, that's for sure.
Yeah, so they figured a way to go down that road, and it's at this stage in time, it's to his benefit and to his company's benefit.
So I'll take that back, Jeff. Congrats and kudos to you.
Yeah, you know, he's figured a way to get out of that situation and continue to be successful. Whether that's right or wrong, you know, that remains to be seen. We are in a capitalistic society. So, of course, nowadays it's like, you know, you have to make money in order to survive and to increase yourself. People look at that. Money is one of those unnecessary roots of evil that we are all a part of. And he's just on top of the food chain with that.
You know, you got our U.S. government so jealous of this guy. They're trying to railroad him and calling him a monopoly. Yeah. Hey, it's not our fault that these brick and mortar stores can't survive because their rent is way through the roof. You know, you don't have to be a brick and mortar store to sell on his huge.
Yeah, cut out the overhead.
Humongous.
Yeah.
Hey, if I can save $3,000 a month, think about that.
Yeah, exponentially spread over the millions of people that are business owners or sell something. If you sell one thing online, you may as well be a business owner.
And let me tell you something. Amazon, by any means, is very strict in what they do to business owners. And if you zig and don't zag, you may not come back.
Well, they have a lot of pull, you know, and aren't they like the first $1 trillion company?
That's right.
You know?
First $1 trillion company
$1 trillion
ever.
is 1,000
billion?
Okay, 1,000 billionaires.
So this guy, and the greatest thing about what this is, and I applaud him for doing this, You want to go ahead and tell everybody?
Yeah. Basically, he has decided to donate or contribute $10 billion towards climate change.
That's $10 billion.
That's $10 billion. Now, he's
That's
estimated
$10,000 million.
Yeah, yes, he's estimated to be worth $130 billion. That's 130,000 millionaires.
That's more, yeah.
Okay, right. Like I was saying earlier, he
bigger,
could have.
He's bigger than Warren Buffett.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Warren Buffett. I was actually reading this morning. Net worth of roughly $88 billion. He's worth more than the entire GDP of Uruguay. Which is like 57 billion or something like that.
Goodness gracious.
He's like, 57 billion. Oh, no big deal. I have an extra 30 billion,
Yeah, I got that covered.
I mean, the vast sums of money involved in anything like that, but credit to him too, since 2000, Warren Buffett has given away $46 billion.
Just for the right thing, man.
Talking
about
a lot of the things that he's given towards, I don't agree with. But that doesn't matter. The simple fact of the matter, he's come out of pocket, and he's still utilizing. He's making his money, quote unquote, work for him, because he stated that the more people that like him, the better his business is.
I mean, it makes sense, right? I mean, but Bezos, to do what he just did, I take my hats off to this guy.
Yeah, it's not even 10%.
It's
130
insane.
billion in comparison with 10 billion,
and he probably made that in interest.
I think the other
Think
day,
about it. If
in one day, he had made like 13 or 14 billion dollars in a day from juggling some stocks and selling A, B, or C or whatever. It's a sum of money that makes us kind of smile and laugh, because this is something that makes me think this, right? He has that, but he's in the same boat as every other single human being on this planet. Guess what? He can't take it with him.
No, that's right. And I'm glad he really, really did what he did. And just doing that in play is just made my heart really warm, And I have a different perspective for him at this point. And to take $10 billion... and to do what he's going to do, and he's going to put that into scientists, and it's called the Bezos Earth Fund.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Isn't that great? This guy knows that climate change is probably real, and if he wants to keep doing the Amazon thing, that he's going to have to pay attention to that, because he's part of this blue planet as well.
Yep.
It doesn't matter if you're from South Africa, Pasadena, California, or Ethiopia. Listen, you're in the same blue marble, right?
Yes.
And we're all drinking that same water one way or another. We're getting earthquakes. We're getting all kinds of stupid things. It's raining a lot. It's floods. We're all on the same planet. It's spinning 1,000 miles an hour. So he's finally realized that, man, I got this humongous company. I don't think it's basically for a tax write-off. I think it's for... hey, man, I want to participate.
Well, I think,
and I admire him for that.
Yeah, I think it's, we're in a society where somebody says something on the news, whether it's fake or not, it gets out there into the world right away. So he knows, everybody that's looking at him knows he's the richest person on this planet as far as money is concerned.
I know, man. It's just amazing that he's going to that level. He's being selfish about it, and he's taking advantage of that as well. I admire him for that. That's going to be his legacy right there.
Yeah.
I mean, first and foremost, everybody who knows how to breathe knows who Amazon is.
Well,
number
remember
one.
This, right? Even
my 6-year-old grandson says, "Hey, Dad, Grandpa, just buy that on Amazon." It's like he's already got pre-programmed.
Yeah, he's pre-programmed too.
He's an Amazoner for life, right?
And, even after Bezos got divorced.
Oh boy.
Okay, divorced.
Shoot,
he was still the richest person in the world.
Oh my gosh.
And his ex-wife, got over $30 billion.
Well, hopefully she's realized that now, that she can't take it with her either.
Yeah. Well,
that's a hell of a tombstone to have, right?
Yeah. That's why Bill Gates made his foundation, and is trying to get all the billionaires that he can on the same page with him, to basically give all your money away, because if you think about it, if any of them just kept 1% of their money,
it'd be insane.
They'd still be insanely rich.
Yeah.
And just the numbers are just insane.
So if Jeff Bezos out there wants to donate anything, you can
yes, let me know. I'll
bring
give
it
you
to
my
the
account number.
Energy Hour, the Sun Brokers, or Quality Home Improvement, please. I'm on the internet.
There you go.
QHIINC.com. I'm just. It is what it is. It is what it is. So, anyways, that's a good thing, and my hats off and kudos to Jeff Bezos for putting the Bezos Earth Fund into play. Yay! Right? One more thing that I'm doing, and I'm kind of showing it off in the office right now,
Yeah, in a small way.
Magnetic levitating light.
Yeah, those.
Are you a believer now? You saw it in the office, right?
Yeah, I had
You don't really think about stuff like that, right?
Not really.
You don't hear
it's nice
about
to see
it.
that in person. These two lights that you got that basically float in midair and still produce electricity.
Exactly. So if you look at magnetic pull, you've got different pounds of pull. You got 1 pound, 5 pounds. They got magnets that will pull your skull out. You know what I'm saying? If there was a plate in the back of your head, it would literally cavitate your skull just to get to it.
Yeah, there's special metals in different types
rare
of
earth
magnetic.
metal. That's what it is, right? So depending on the kind that you can get is going to be how you can push or pull something away. And you've already saw stuff that I've already kind of did. Mm-hmm. You can take a regular circle type magnet, cut it in half or break it. You can't cut it, but you're going to have to saw it in half, right? And with both polarities, you can glue those on a little square disc. Disc is round. This is square. Sorry.
Yeah, square disc.
So a square
That's
board.
How advanced this thinking is.
You can actually take a light bulb and wrap copper just on the side portion of that 24, 25 watt light bulb, right? And you don't need to put the probes anywhere. You just glue it so it stays into place. And then you glue that to the center of a mass, and then take the negative and the positive from that, magnet, and glue it to each side of that. And when the second piece comes down onto that board, magnetic electricity is going to produce enough to light that light.
Yeah, you kickstart it with a small battery and then pull the battery away.
No, you don't even need to do that with this other one.
Oh, really?
That's right. There is something that I'm going to show you that you can take a round earth magnet by itself, you cut it in half, and you take copper and you go around the light bulb a whole bunch of times, maybe, 100 times, just to make sure there's enough conductive material there. And you don't have to put anything on the tip. You think the tip would be positive and negative would be the side. No, it's not like that. And then you glue this to the center of a magnet. You can take a Frisbee for all you care. Glue it to the center of the Frisbee. And on one side, take that half a magnet. It kind of looks like the Golden Arches, but you want it to be, just like that. So you just kind of glue it to one side and then take the other one and start pushing it towards the light and watch what happens. The magnetic energy will automatically turn on that light. And guess what? It will last forever. The problem with it is the filament will give out.
Yeah, because it's not going to obviously last forever.
Or you can do an LED light of low voltage or low wattage for that much. You can do a 25 watt LED light, and we know a 10 watt LED bulb gives off a tremendous amount of light, right? You can do the same thing, and it will last as long as the lifetime of the bulb.
Yeah, and a lot of these bulbs have 100,000 hour lifetime.
I know, it's crazy. What is that, like 1,500 years?
When's the last time you held your breath for that long? Right?
Right. So it's kind of cool, right? Technology is there. Now get this. I'm going to take that same technology and I'm going to prove to you that magnetics can conduct electricity. I'm going to be able to start it. I'm going to be able to stop it with magnets. And I'm not going to need any solar hooked up to it or a fancy battery. I don't need none of that. I'm going to produce my own energy. And if I get this correctly, if I can solve thermodynamics, which I've already got a design for, and, Kelvar is another thing that I'm going to be using, I bet you $100 this thing is going to produce enough energy to where, I don't know, wouldn't that be cool to put a 10 kilowatt unit on the side of your house? What did I just do?
Well, you provided free electricity.
Kevlar? Did I say Kevlar? I did, didn't I?
I was like,
playing on words.
Kevlar is a new...
That's the new material I created last week. But Kevlar, right.
Kevlar, right.
You know why you're
bulletproof material.
Yeah, you know why we're going to use that, just in case this thing that's spinning inside decides to explode like flywheels do sometime underground. Mm-hmm. So we're going to take that same concept, but it's going to be built differently. There's not going to be any ball bearings running it. So thermodynamics is not going to be a problem there. It might be ceramic. I'm not too sure on the properties and how we're going to develop that. Mm-hmm. But it could be something as simple as something floating on magnetic air. Kind of like a bullet train does in China. Think about that for a minute. This bullet train starts on the track. And as it progresses, this thing just glides. Can you imagine something going over 200 miles an hour?
Yeah, and the weight.
What's going to do to the bearings of those wheels?
Yeah.
And the weight? You're going to be killing everybody on that train. Yeah. So this thing just kind of lifts up off the track, and then it can go 200-plus miles.
That's great. I can't wait to
get in. That's badass, man. Now, that's a train that you're not going to stop anytime soon, and it will go through you. So that being said, if we do the same kind of technology in a magnetic form for residential customers, I'd like to be the first guy to tell Southern California Edison or LEDWP,
bye-bye. See
you later. So give me a little time.
But remember,
I'm in the design phases now.
Remember, they're going to want to regulate it.
Well, they're not going to touch it.
Especially when it doesn't have anything to do with the grid.
I'm just going to disconnect from the line side of the grid, and I'm going to tell them to cancel my account as I remove their breaker in the center. And then my breaker goes in that I'm going to buy at Home Depot, and it's going to connect to the ground, the positive and the negative. I'm going to call it Moss Energy, MOSS Energy Company, and this thing's going to work so good that it's going to produce enough energy to completely take you off grid.
And what are you going to do with any excess electricity?
We're going to give it up to the energy gods up in the sky or something like that. Or make it go to ground or make it...
Or charge your battery.
You know, the cool thing about it is you'll be able to regulate this. So once you start it, if your house doesn't run on 2 kilowatt, why run a 10, 20 kilowatt unit when you don't have to? Mm-hmm. It'll be regulated. You know, like a governor on a real fast car in the Indianapolis 500.
Sure.
They usually put a governor so these guys don't drive themselves to death, right? You can't go over 1 billion miles an hour. It's just not going to happen. So I'm not going to move time or anything like that. But the cool thing is it'll be regulated. And you think about it, most air conditioners are 50 amps times 240 volts because they use both sides of the bus bar. So that's like, what, 10 kilowatt? That might be, and if you had, and all these electrician guys that are out there right now are listening to me, they're thinking about putting their meter on their electricity unit, AC outside, and turning it on. I'm thinking that a 3 or 4 ton unit, per ton, it is 750 watts per hour. So if you have a 5-ton unit, continual power will be close to 4K. You just take 750 times by 4, and that's going to be the demanding power it's going to be to run it. Take that same scenario, and then you hook it up to this machine, and it's going to draw power and all this other stuff. But it's going to be a variable type of power to where you don't have to worry about. I mean, think about it. The reason that compressor is outside of your house with that fan is to cool down the compressor that gets super hot.
So are you going to have some type of a capacitor involved in this thing too? I'm
not too sure, but it's going to be regulated. How you're going to regulate the speed is simply pushing the magnet closer to start it, and then pushing it even closer to keep it going even more, right? Or pulling it away and disengaging it to a certain speed.
And you're going to use the same energy generated from that to make that magnet move back and forth as needed?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's going to be totally cool. And guess what? I don't have to have a battery to start it. I don't have to have solar panels up on my roof to do none of that stuff. And I think that once I'm done and once it's been proven, it already has been. I've already showed you a couple things, right? It was kind of cool, right?
Yeah, conceptual, yeah. Absolutely.
I mean, you can take, a glue gun and a bunch of these little magnets and put one of these things together yourself and watch it work. What the conductor is copper. Copper then conducts that wattage because it's making AC power right then and there. It's making it on the fly right there. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to take that, I'm going to connect it to my service panel. Of course, this will be a house that we build that's going to be ultimate, energy efficient, period. It runs on its own power. And own power meaning that it doesn't have power to run on. It just runs on it magnetically. Isn't that great?
So it would be AC or DC
mind-boggling,
power.
right? I mean, you can actually put in a inverter if you wanted to. Think about it.
Right.
You can attach an inverter to, just like, Trace Engineering or Xantrix did a long time ago, right? They had a bunch of batteries, the DC part. So the solar actually charged the batteries through a charge controller to make sure they didn't overcharge the batteries. And this inverter actually hooked to the batteries directly. And then the inverter pulled the power from the DC batteries and converted it into AC power. That's what these off-gridders do now that are completely off the grid. But going a step further, wouldn't that be cool to take your on-grid home and to kind of run your entire house? So you want to get rid of your natural gas. You only need LP or propane to cook on, right? So you can have this really cool, like I got a Taco Man grill. It's kind of cool. It's my favorite thing now. But imagine that, your lights, everything, your electric heat, everything's going to be run via electricity.
Well, you might not even need any of the gas at all.
I mean, you can get an electric stove.
Sure, why not?
And get rid of that, right?
Right.
The only thing we cannot do is have pressurized water unless you took maybe 2 or 3 of those atmospheric water generators. It would have to be in a 5,000-gallon drum somewhere. We haven't figured out how to produce water yet significantly to be pressurized, and then you can operate it on every one of your homes, right? I mean, it's coming. Trust me. When I say it, if I'm thinking it, it's coming. So I'm going to start with the electricity side first, and once the Moss Energy Company comes into fruition, and we can say this is a working unit, and I can, in front of the world, turn it up to 5 kilowatt per hour forever.
Yeah.
It's going to change the world. And guess what? I can stick these little things in Africa, Zimbabwe, Pasadena, California, for all we care.
Yep.
I can hook it up to your main service panel, and I can disconnect from the grid.
That would be great.
And it's been done. And I learned this process when I went and took a class at one of my favorite utility providers, and I watched it in front of me as it was working. So I took that concept, and then, the reality was other people came up with the same thing. Maybe we were thinking of magnetic, energy at the same time. Who knows? The universe opened up, swallowed up all of us at the same time, and we got crazy. But, I mean, it's not just conceptual. All we have to do is put a little bit of money into it and make the perfect box and watch what happens. It's going to be just like putting your keys in your car, and this sucker is going to run, and it's not going to stop until I want it to.
Well, the next step is to trademark the conception.
Well, we have the United States government. Anything you put through the USPTO becomes property of the United States government, right? So I don't care. How about this? How about if I just make it free to the world, and we tell these utility companies you can take a flying leap. As long as my house is ran by it, I don't really care about it. But if you want one of my units, it's going to be a lot cheaper to buy a solar system. And you know what? I love solar.
Mm-hmm.
You know this, right? I love solar. We're going to develop something in the future that kind of circumvents solar. And I hate to say it, but it's here. It's on my mind, and I'm going to do it.
Can't wait to see it. Can't wait to see it. That's going to be great.
Oh, my gosh. It's just crazy, right? So, anyways, what was that last thing we're going to talk about? I think SpaceX. Now, you heard that NASA sent up it looks like a drone, or what do they call that? One of those little things.
Like maybe a probe or something?
Okay, a probe. There we go. And it actually, I think one was called, I forgot, there's two of them they sent up, and they actually landed on the moon of Mars, and they were, for so many days, taking data. Check that out, right? Of course, now SpaceX wants to shoot somebody up in space to go to Mars, but what does it take to get there? Like 3 years or something like that?
I think it's 27 months.
27 months?
But you can't quote. You can find, Google it, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, just.
I think it's great that he's talking about it.
Well, that's why he said, it's a trip that nobody would really be able to return from.
I was really happy that he said one thing, though. You know what that is?
What's that?
He goes, I'll go. That's guts, man. Think about it.
Well, he knows if he goes, he's not coming back.
Well, I'm going to be gone for at least 6 years, 2.5 to 3 to get up there, and then I don't know if there's any power to get back. So,
wow,
maybe they need to have my magnetic machine.
Listen, at the speed of light. At the speed of light? Okay, it takes 20 minutes at the speed of light to send a message from here to Mars. So if he lands on Mars and he goes, there's no toilet paper here, we wouldn't find out for about, 20 to 40 minutes.
Killing me, man. OMG. Well, I hope he does it. This guy's great. I mean, he's doing space technology right now. I think he's fantastic. Congratulations to Elon Musk for doing all this stuff. It takes big cojones, man, to do what this guy's doing. Yeah. I'd like to get him as a sponsor for the Energy Hour, though. We're working on that.
You know where we're at, Elon.
Yeah.
You're a billionaire. All right. There's people out there that are connected to you.
Absolutely.
That reach out to you on a daily basis. They're probably listening to us now.
He's changing lives. That's what he's doing.
Yeah. Why don't you come by and, give us a visit?
Elon Musk went against the grain, kind of like I like to do, Rob likes to do, you love to do it, right? And we're thinkers, we're inventors. So what happens is that we're going to come out with something very cool the world's going to want to have a piece of. And you know what? At the end of the day, why not?
Yeah, why not?
Energy is all around us. Water is all around us. You just got to extract it.
Yeah, think outside of the box. And, there's with billions of people on this planet, there's plenty of brains out there that can think it. And then there's ones who can implement.
Right. So all we need on our end is a little rocket fuel. And I say this all the time, give me $1 million and watch what I can do with that $1 million.
Yeah, that would be fantastic.
I can probably do it for like 10 grand. I mean, it wouldn't take that much.
Yeah.
But anyways, hey, good thoughts, right?
Yep.
All right, man. Hey, thanks for hanging out, Sean.
Thank you, sir.
Another good show. Hopefully, we don't have any haters out there, but if we do, too bad.
Whatever. If
we're outside of the box.
They can just go Solaria
Turn it off, baby.
Or go home.
Go Solaria or go home. All right, man. Thank you so much, buddy. I'll talk to you soon.
Catch you later.
The Energy Hour was brought to you by
Beauty, efficiency, and power. The only product we know in the solar industry is Solaria. Maximum power. For nearly 25 years, Solaria has set the pace for solar panel performance, efficiency, reliability, quality, and design. Maximum power. Solaria continues to leverage its patented technology, engineering expertise, and sophisticated automation into creating one of the most attractive, energy-efficient solar panels available on the market today. Maximum power. What really defines home solar? How about Solaria? Quality you can trust for your home or business. Solaria is the new benchmark for solar energy. Where do you get this panel for your home or business? Go to QHIINC.com. That's QHIINC.com/Solaria. SOLARIA.
Latest electric bill? Is it less than last month or last year? Probably not. But if you had a solar system from QHI, it would be. Your electric meter could be running backwards. Right now, get a QHI system installed for no money down, no out-of-pocket expenses. Get an immediate savings on your electric bill. Call 909-609-5437. Solar is all they do. Call QHI 909-609-5437.
You spend to ensure good health $100, $1,000, $1 million? For less than $100, you can get a 2-month supply of a VHE Superfood, the revolutionary new health supplement packed with everything you need to look great, feel great, and have renewed energy. Call 618-800-6670. A VHE Superfood, beyond organic. Go to realhealthforyou.com. Total Life Energy in powder, pill, or elixir. Your health. What's it worth to you? Call 618-800-6670 now.
Capture the joyful magic of the holiday season with Virtual Santa. Virtual Santa is a high-definition projection effect that walks, waves, laughs, eats cookies, and puts presents under the tree. From outside, it's so real, you swear Santa's in your house. Virtual Santa, originally seen on ABC's The Great Christmas Light Fight. You can choose from traditional Virtual Santa or new African American Santa. Holiday effects include Virtual Santa, Mrs. Claus, Santa's Workshop with Christmas elves, and so much more. Buy one effect or a bundle. Available in HD DVD, digital download, or USB flash drive. Also available in LED projection bundles. For a winning Christmas display that will delight your neighbors young and old, visit us at virtualsanta.com and become known as the house where Santa lives. Virtual Santa, where holiday spirit begins.
Thank you for listening to The Energy Hour. Visit them on the internet by going to QHIINC.com/TEO. That's QHIINC.com/TEO.